Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Nat. I have a little fun fold here for you today. Now I'm going to give you some of the measurements. I'm going to give you sort of some of both. I figured out some of the both. These measurements I'm only going to give you in metric down below. They are 14.3 by 4.7 and I'll tell you why in a sec. We've got a couple of circles here which I'll let you know how wide they are. This is the part that you're going to have to do a little bit of work on it. Okay, so what I've got is this strip is 9/16 wide and 3 1/8 long. Now in Aussie, that's in metric, I should say, that is 1.5 centimeters by 8 centimeters. And then we do a couple of scoring. So with the card bases, they're not as wide as I think I said, they're not as wide. So fold it in half and then fold it over again. Figure out, if you're Imperial, figure out how wide you need your cardstock, your paper, and do that accordingly. I'm going to leave you to that to yourself. Same again for this card panel. This for the metric people is 14.3 by 10 centimeters. Now we've got a couple of circles here. Now use this roughly. So the blue cardstock, we've got 1.5 inches. So that's 2.5 centimeters wide. The white cardstock is 11/16, which is 1.8. I'll leave all this down below. This is the part that is going to cause you a little bit of problem. So I told you the width of it all. Now we scored this at 7/8, 3/4 of an inch, 2 3/8, and 2 3/4. Now it's going to give you a rough guide because I've tried to convert that over from centimeters. So for the metric people, you've got 1.5 by 8 centimeters. You score at 1, 2, 6, and 7. Okay. We're going to obviously make a little platform there. So you put glue on only the first little panel, stick that down, and then the last little panel. That might take a little bit of a little bit of a learning curve to figure that one out. But pretty much we are just making a little pop-up panel. So glue is on the last panel and the first panel. That is all for the time being. So we've got some more circles here. The blue, we have 2 13/16. The white cardstock, the white circle, is 2 7/16, which is 6.3 centimeters. But that you could just find what you've got in your stash. Literally with a piece of scrap cardstock, we've just ripped a little bit off it, and we're going to make a little snow scene. So I'm using weathered wood and faded jeans, and we're just blending from the scrap cardstock upwards to give us a soft little snowy scene. And then I'm going to come through with a little bit of faded jeans and put a little bit of extra dimension in it. So I hope my explanation is clear enough. You're making a little platform. I want to go back to this platform because I want to make sure that hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So we've got a strip of cardstock. We've put 2 score marks in. We've put glue on the front score mark. We've laid it flat and adhered it down. And then we have put glue on the last panel after the last score line. You then fold it over so it's sitting over the first on the left hand side, and then we glue the last panel down. When adhering the circle here, we want to make sure that it's pretty much in the middle, and the little tiny circle is going to be our little stopper. With the glue, this part, I actually put too much glue. You want a bit of glue in the center because you're still going to need a little bit of room for the panel to bend. So just put glue in the center bit. Okay, so I'll try and explain that all. The colouring, we're going to use some Prismacolor pencils. I'm going to keep it relatively simple because this image is only about 7 centimetres tall, 8 centimetres tall. I'm not too sure. I've worked out some of the measurements in other things, but that one I'm not too sure. But literally it's not very big at all. So we try to keep it all relatively simple. So we're just going to put a little bit of red over his scarf. And what I'm using, just, like one pencil. Some of these, like the blues that we've got here, so we've got 1101, we've got 903 as a medium, and 1087 for our blue. So we're going to put a little bit of shadowing on his scarf. But other things, I'm trying to think. He's got some little bit of holly, little bit of berries in his hat, and they're going to be the same. They're going to be one shading as well. So we've got 902 for that, 924 for that, 907, and then we're going to use another one. That's that, 107, 1087. I think we've got a little bit of orange there as well. We're just going to blend that through. So it's pretty much done the same way as darker colours. So here we've got our 1074, which is our warm grey. Then we've got 1072 for a lighter. Like I think they were 70% and 50% greys. Don't quote me on that one. So we're just giving the little birdie a little bit of shadow. What you need to remember with your Prismacolors is to keep them sharp. And honestly, it really is extremely helpful when you do this finer detail, making sure that your pencils are nice and sharp. There's our 1003 for our little sort of, it looks really yellow there, but it's a little bit of a yellow orange. He had a little bit of a little love heart on his lips. It was so cute. I couldn't quite figure out what his hat was because I really shrunk this down a fair bit. And that's the great thing about digital images. You can really sort of trim them down. We're going to use some black. So we got 935, and then we're going to use a cooler grey for 1063. I hope you can't hear my dog barking there. Someone's barking outside too. But, so we're just going to colour his hat. It's really relatively simple. The worst thing is going to be pretty much his, the snowman. So we're going to give him a little bit of blue shading sort of thing to him. I've done this as little lumps of coal. That's what I decided they were. So we've given them just a little bit of black, a little bit of grey for highlights. The snowman, what we're going to use is the lightest blue that we have. A little bit 907, just because he had a little bit of leaves, but you can't see them too much. Literally, you can't see them too much. So it's 1087, and I'm just trying to give him a little bit of definition. Sort of basically where his little shadows are, that's all. So as I said, I will leave all the measurements down below, including the metric ones, just in case you can get a bit of an idea sort of thing. And also for the Aussie peeps and all the other metric people, because I think England's metric as well as obviously New Zealand. I'm not too sure about anywhere else in the world, so forgive me. I've done a little bit of travel, but not that much. So I will leave that all down below, so wherever you are. But just know that our card bases here in Australia, I don't know where about anywhere else, is an A4. So it's not your 8.5 by 11. So yeah, our card bases are a little bit, that's why if you get some dies, like full panel dies that come over from America, they don't quite fit into our card bases. We have to play around with them, but that's all good. It's all fun. So this is a little stopper. So you need to play with it a little bit. So I've put a little bit too much glue on my front panel. So you just need a little bit of glue right in the center. And when you close this and you put it flat, you will find that the circle will be off-centered to the card base. And that's fine. It will spring back up as soon as you open up the card base and also make it into, because it's basically an easel. It's just a little bit of an alteration on an easel card. So that's it. That's going to be pretty much my card. I'm just putting some foam on my little snowman. I am going to put a bit of glue on the base of him. So the bottom half of he's going to stuck down and the front half is going to be raised up. We're going to use a little bit of our blues to ground him a little bit more. I'm also going to use some stickles and a little bit, just a couple of sequins, but a little bit of sickles just in the drifts of snow, because why not? It was a bit of fun. Just going to place my little, these are just clear sequins. I didn't want them to stand out too much. Just a little bit of clear sequins on there. And I'm going to glue that down with some multi-matte medium. It's coming to our end. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope it made sense. It's really not as hard as it looks, and that little platform is probably the hardest, but once you get your head around it, then you're right. And you can easily repeat it because it is a really quick and simple card. So some really cute little Merry Christmas cards could come out of this. That's it. That's my card. I hope you have a really great day. Thank you for spending some of your time with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.